Resolved to leave the Shire, Frodo and his friends make their way cross-country towards Buckleberry Ferry and Crick Hollow beyond, intent to keep their journey a secret for as long as possible. But the woods and fields of the Shire are not as safe as they thought. In the dead of night, they encounter strangers that make their blood run chill. Man-sized figures swathed in heavy black robes, stalking the woods and searching for someone or something. Unprepared, the halflings are almost caught unawares, but out of the dark a light can shine, and Gildor Inglorian of the Noldor rushes to save them.
Hello from editor Boris, just editing the games to get them out to you as fast as possible. Just a quick note, this game was filmed in the last edition a few months ago, so it made it a lot simpler to film them all at once in kind of a block. So you are going to see some different stat profiles, some special strikes from the old days as it were. The ring race spells will be a little bit different, which it doesn't make a huge deal of difference overall. The scenarios are kind of balanced against each other, so we're using the old profiles from both sides. So just before you guys think, hang on a minute, that's not how it works in the modern edition, it's not. It is the last edition. We've done a video going over the changes, but for this mission, it doesn't really make much difference, and it's a great little video. So over to past Boris and Julian.
Hello and welcome to Striding Edge Games. I'm Julian and this is...
I'm Boris.
We're here fighting Mission 2 of our Quest of the Ringbearer campaign. Shortcuts make long delays. What are we doing, Boris?
It's very exciting. It's very exciting. We finally have enemies on the table. So after the abortive scrumping attempt,
The dastardly hobbits.
Mission 1 with Farmer Maggot's crop, we are on to shortcuts make the long delays, as you said. So the hobbits have stumbled into the woods of the East Farthing and found themselves pursued by black riders.
Yeah.
So we have our first proper enemies, we have our first proper game with might, will, fate, strikes, all that sort of thing, actual peril, actual possibility of things dying.
Yeah.
As we explained in the last video, we rolled up for sort of each chunk of campaign. To the rest point, I am playing evil, so I will be, I was hobbits last time, but I will be playing the ring wraiths this time.
Yeah.
And you are playing our plucky band of hobbits and elf.
The heroes. It's a simple little scenario. Compared to Farmer Maggot, it's actually very straightforward.
Yeah, yeah.
The hobbits have got to get off the board edge, and the ring wraiths have got to stop them.
Yes, basically you have, it's a game sort of played one way until the alarm is raised, and then it's a standard game. So until the alarm is raised, it's played in a sort of push and pull technique. So we have 3 ring race on the, I think it's the, the north, the west and the south sides of the board.
Yeah.
Gildor is on the east. The hobbits have to get off the east side of the board, and the ring race are sentries. So they are rolling every turn on the sentries table until the alarm is raised. And that's the sort of, 4 up, I get to move them. 1 to 3, you get to move them.
Yeah.
But every turn until the alarm is raised, the hobbits are taking courage checks.
Yeah. And if they fail those, the ring wraiths, the evil player gets to move the hobbits.
Yeah, you're lost in the woods.
Because they're lost. Yeah. So it's kind of like a flip side. I mean, we might end up with good moving the ring wraiths and evil moving the hobbits.
Yeah, both moving away from each other. We're trying to get towards, it'll be a bit bizarre, who knows. I think this one's going to be all down to the dice rolls to start with. It could be over really quickly if the ring wraiths just get lost searching in a bush and the hobbits just power straight forward, because you've got really good courage across the board, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably a tough one for the ring wraiths. I mean, it is quite a distance for the hobbits to cover, because they start about 12 inches in, but that still means there's 36 inches, and they only move 4 inches.
Yeah.
So they're no one's got march or anything, so it's going to be a slow trek.
You do have a fancy elf, however.
Yeah, we do have a fancy elf.
Lovely Gildor, painted up especially for this campaign.
Yeah, he's a unique model, and at this kind of level of gameplay, he's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, moves 8.
He moves 8.
He's like an Uruk scout.
He's got magic.
Yes.
He's got elven fight.
Elven sword.
Elven sword.
Fight value. I think he's only 2 wins to attacks, but still 2 more than a ring wraith, which is pretty great. Yeah. So Do you think you're going to try and throw him straight into combat and just kill a wraith as fast as possible, or do you think you're going to try and sort of commando sneak the hobbits out and cover them with Gildor?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's going to be a bit random. So, I mean, the hobbits failing their courage check is faintly unlikely.
Would be pretty huge if it happened, but unlikely, I would agree.
So, yeah, we'll see how we go. I think, don't want to give away too much of the key strategy.
Okay, your ultimate, strategy. I think it's basically, for me, it's going to come down to what those first 2 or 3 turns of sentry rolls are like.
Yeah.
If all the ring wraiths go off in the other direction, it's going to be really hard. This is also one where I think it'd be very difficult, on a standalone scenario, very difficult for the evil to actually even may have any impact. But because we're in a campaign and we have Buckleberry Ferry next, it might be worth, we'll see how it goes, but it might be worth
drawing out some might.
Drawing out some resources. If I can deplete some might, will, especially will, some might, will and fate, or wounds even, out of the hobbits, that could be really good to set me up for the next mission. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose even if you get one chance and you can just cast Drain Will on Frodo, say, that's quite an impact because he might not get it all back.
Yeah, that's always really true. So, there's a lot of options, we'll see. Objectives, we didn't actually say the objectives, but very simple.
We did.
Oh, did we? Okay. Frodo has to get off the board and evil just has to kill Frodo.
Yeah.
Nice and easy. So, or I think if you manage to somehow kill all 3.
Yeah, if the good side kills all the ring wraiths, but I think that's highly unlikely.
Defense 8, but only 1 wound, no fate.
Killing 1 or 2 maybe, but all 3, I mean...
When you're saying Sam has heroic strength?
He does have
I think Sam has it in him. The Gamgees are famous wraith slayers, I think.
It's true. Yeah, well, I think we'll just find out,
We'll find out, yeah. There's no roll-off for first turn because it is a narrative scenario, so good have first turn.
Good have the first turn.
So we'll give you a quick board overview and then go straight into good turn 1.
Start of turn 1. As per the scenario rules, the hobbits are deployed touching the hedge. Because Good won the previous scenario, the hobbits get to be placed on the west side of the hedge, whereas if they had lost, they would have to be placed on the east side, which would mean they'd have to take a climb check, which can stymie you for some time. As per rules, again, start of their moves, the hobbits have to take a courage check. So we'll lead off with Frodo, and let's roll our courage. He's got an 8, so that's an easy pass. That's where Frodo finishes his move. Next up, we're going to do Sam. He passes on a 7. So Sam follows up on his master, and finally we have brave Pippin, who passes on an 11, so he is very brave. And that's where all 3 hobbits end up, 4 inches closer to their objective. And Gildor doesn't need to test for courage and gets to move a full 8 inches, so he's come in. Again, thanks to the scenario, he started 3 inches further into the board edge. Normally he'd have to touch the edge, moving towards the hobbits to help them.
And on to the Ringwraith's move. First evil move of the campaign proper. The Northern Ringwraith, you see bottom right there in the camera, and the hobbits in the top left. He's going to hope to move towards them. That's a strong start to 1, so he is standing still. He thinks he's found the hobbits in a little bush right next to him. Next we have the Western Ringwraith. He's behind the hedge trying to catch up with the hobbits. Next sentry roll. Ooh, 4. Okay, so we get to move 3 inches. And that's where he ends up, slightly closer to the hobbits. Hopefully he can catch up in time. And finally we have the Southern Ringwraith. Can he do better? Oh, a 6. He can. That is a strong start. Excellent. And that is where the Southern Ringwraith ends up, 6 inches closer to his objective.
Turn 2, priority roll. Good gets a 2.
Evil, a 3. Excellent.
Ooh.
Could be useful. Let's go straight into sentries. Straight into the sentry rolls, we have the Eastern Ringwraith. He stood still last time, see if we can do better. A 3, that's disappointing. So the good side get to move him 3 inches.
For the good side, we've moved the Ringwraith 3 inches westward along the board edge, as the hobbits need to go east. It's going to end up better.
The Westward Ringwraith next. He moved 3 last time, see if he can do better. Stand still, that's probably even worse. Although I suppose he would have been sent the other way, so not too bad, but disappointing. And lastly, we have the Southern Ringwraith, who managed so well last turn. Let's see what he can do. Oh, another 6! Fantastic! So he is moving full. And that is where he's ended up. So he's moved a full 12 inches in the last 2 turns. He's about 10 away from the Hobbits, which is nowhere near close enough. We need to be within 3 inches in the end phase. But we now have the Hobbit moves. If we fail some courage checks from the Hobbits, we can start moving them towards the Ringwraith. That would be fantastic. He's the only one in contention at the moment. The other 2 are failing quite miserably. We do, however, have Gildor zooming up the board, who could decide to go nuclear and just start attacking.
Turn 2 for the good side. Gildor has moved up the board first. He's beckoning the Hobbits on. They're going to try and run the blockade between the Ringwraith and the hedge here. So we're testing for courage. First up, we're going to start with Frodo. He passes on an 8. So Frodo's moved up. He's hugging the hedge tight to squeeze past that Ringwraith. Next up, we're going to test for Pippin. This is a disastrous result for Pippin. He's failed his courage check, which means the evil side gets to move him.
And that's where we've chosen to move Pippin. He's just gone 2 inches closer to the Ringwraith, so he's a full move away from his Hobbit compatriots. Hopefully, we can continue the run of good luck.
Next up, finally, we've got Sam shouting at his friend Pippin to get back. He's going to test his courage, and he's all right. Rolls an 8.
And that's the end of turn 2. Things are heating up. We have 1 Hobbit out of sequence, so we go straight into priority roll for turn 3. Evil get 1.
Yeah, good makes it on a 3.
Okay, good move first.
We're going to start off with Pippin this time and see whether he manages to pass his courage check, because that will affect what we're doing for all the other Hobbits. So, he fails it again on a 4.
That is excellent news. So Evil have moved him, and we've just nudged him 2 inches closer to that Ringwraith. It's all going to depend on sentry rolls now.
All right. Test for Frodo. He gets a 7, so he's going to be able to move freely. Finally, Sam's going to take his courage check. So Sam has rolled a 4. Unfortunately, the Ringwraith's Harbinger of Evil rule means that all models, enemy models within 12, are at -1 to their courage. Sam would normally pass this test, but thanks to being effectively courage 5, he's failed, so the Ringwraith player gets to move him.
Yeah, we're going to move him. I take it you're not going to try and spend a will point. You're going to save it for later in the campaign?
I think we're not going to spend the point of will to resist this check, because it's only going to be 2 inches or so.
All right, yeah. And that's where we've decided we're sending Sam 2 inches backwards, trying to split up the Hobbits. Frodo, unfortunately, is the furthest forward, but if we can raise the alarm, hopefully we can run forwards and get him later.
And Gildor moves up to protect Frodo, standing ready perhaps to engage a Ringwraith.
On to evil moves. We're going to do the 2 Ringwraiths that are far away to start with, see if it affects anything. So the Western Ringwraith rolls a 6. Fantastic. So he zooms up the board. So he moves straight towards the hedge, and he's within 12 inches of Sam now, which is great news. We'll see if he can carry on next turn. We have the Northern Ringwraith, who's not done very well so far. Let's see what he does. A 2. Okay, so good move him again.
And he just moves as far away from the Hobbits as possible.
Last but not least, we have the Southern Ringwraith. This is all or nothing, so if we roll a 4 up, we'll be able to move into range to alert the sentries, raise the alarm, because Pippin is only 6 inches away, or under 6 inches away. Here we go, come on. It's the 3rd 6 in a row. Oh my
Bullshit.
God. And that is where the Ringwraith moves into, so he is just within 3 inches of Frodo and Gildor, and right in the middle of all 3 Hobbits. Might be a bit of a mistake, you might end up getting stabbed in the back, but crucially, the alarm is raised and the game is now on. And that is the end of a very eventful turn 3. We have raised the alarm in the end phase, which is fantastic news. We were worried that that just wouldn't happen at all. One Ringwraith is looking pretty out of place with 4 Hobbits, 4 good models around him. However, the other 2 can now move full speed to come to his aid. Next turn priority is going to be huge in terms of magic, and I'm sure some will be going off, so we'll go straight into the priority roll. Start with good.
We'll start with good. They get a 1.
Oh no.
And evil gets the 5. So
5.
It's evil priority.
There we go. Start of turn 4, and we have some heroic moves. So Frodo, I believe.
Yeah, Frodo is calling a heroic move. He's not within range of Sam or Pippin, unfortunately, but he's going to call with me, so Gildor's going to follow along.
Just move out of range. At the start of the turn after priority was rolled, I have decided to call the special rule the Cry of the Nazgul. So now that the sentries have been alerted and the Ringbearer has been found, the Nazgul screech, and that is a -3 courage to every model on the board, every good model. So hopefully that will make us a lot scarier to charge and dissuade those sort of speculative charges. Pippin, for example, is down to courage 1. He would be in range to charge that Ringwraith, and it just gives us a bit more flexibility. So we'll go on to Good's heroic move.
Frodo's moved with his heroic move and called with me. Gildor's followed along. Frodo's moved his maximum distance away from the Ringwraith, and Gildor is now just blocking up the extra sort of 2 inches that the Ringwraith has on Frodo, movement-wise, which would mean, if it wasn't for Gildor, Frodo would be in trouble, but Gildor's there to stop that Ringwraith.
After the good heroic moves, we have the Ringwraiths. No more sentry rolls, so the westerly Ringwraith moved towards the hedge, rolled a 2, so he's just hopped over it and stopped. However, he is within range and is staring down Sam, who previously walked backwards. Looking at it, I don't think they're going to be able to catch Frodo, so we're going to try and just cast some magic, drain some abilities. So we're going to try a sap will on Sam, try and get rid of some will ahead of the next mission. I'm going to throw 2 dice at it, and it casts on a 5-up. No, a 1 and a 4, that's unfortunate, so he is down to 5 will. The Northerly Ringwraith has finally turned around from searching these bushes and is heading towards the centre of the board to try and catch up with the Hobbits. However, he's probably out of range for a while, so he's just moved 6 inches forward, and maybe we'll be able to use some magic with him later on. Lastly, we have the now central Ringwraith. Bit of a tough decision. Should I charge Gildor, throw a bunch of spells at him, just try and tie up Gildor, Black Dart Frodo? Who knows? But we're going to try and be sneaky. These are servants of Sauron after all. We're going to try and compel Frodo back forwards round behind his steadfast elven protector. So I'm going to throw 2 dice on a compel. It is a 4-up, and we get it on a 5. So now we have the choice. Do the good side wish to resist, and with how many dice?
So Hobbits naturally get a resistant to magic, so they get 1 dice, and then Frodo's going to spend an extra point of will.
Okay.
So first up, the resistant to magic dice doesn't go, and then we'll follow up with a point of will, which is a failure as well.
Ooh.
Oh, Frodo's in trouble here.
So we just move Frodo out 2 inches round the side, and that's where the Ringwraith finishes his move, base to base with Frodo, out of range of Gildor, which is exactly what we needed. The Ringbearer is in combat.
Following the good heroic move at the start, the 2 hobbits follow up behind. They're running away from that Ringwraith that's hopped the hedge and trying to help their friend.
Into the first proper combat of the entire campaign, we have a Ringwraith attacking the Ringbearer. Fantastic news for us. 1 attack aside, I think we will feint with the Ringwraith, because I really want to see if I can at least drain a fate point, if not a wound, from the Ringbearer. Would be fantastic. Frodo, not going to stab?
Not going to stab, because even if Frodo wins the fight, he's looking for, I think, 6s by 4s.
At least, if
at
not
least.
more. Yeah,
and so re-rolling 1's not that helpful.
Okay, well, it's a straight roll for the Ringwraith. There's no might on our side, so let's see what we get. A 3. Not too hard to beat, Frodo.
Frodo gets a 6.
Okay, so the Ringwraith backs away.
Frodo is strength 2 versus the Ringwraith's mighty defense 8. So we are looking for a 6 first, and then a 5 if we roll that 6. So first off, oh, it's so close. It's a 5.
It's not worth spending a point of might on? Your last point of might?
I don't think it's worth spending a point of might at this point.
Yeah, that's probably sensible. And the Ringwraith goes down to 4 will left, having been in combat.
An exciting turn for that. The Ringwraith has come in. It's been rebuffed by the Ringbearer, and he's down. The Ringwraith's now looking pretty weak. We're going straight into priority.
Straight into priority for turn 5, and Evil get a 5, strong start.
Could get 2. Okay. Ooh.
Evil priority for, I think, the 3rd time in a row.
Yeah, that's nasty. Despite losing the priority, Good is going to call a heroic move with Samwise. He's actually just within 6 of all of the good models on the board. So he'll lead off. He's going to charge straight into that Ringwraith with no fear. He's at courage 5, so let's see if we can roll over a 10. And he does it, no problem. On a 9, Sam is going into combat. And that's where Sam ends his move. He's going to call with me, and everyone else is going to try and join in. Pippin's going to check to charge as well. Unfortunately, he is at courage 3, so we're looking for a 7 on 2 dice. But we make it.
Yes,
11.
Pippin.
He's making up for his earlier failings. Next up, Gildor's going to charge in. He's normally courage 6, but with the Ringwraith there, he's down to 5. So we're looking for, a 5 on 2 dice. Which he only just makes, but he makes it. To complete this dastardly trap, Frodo's going to have to join the combat. He's at courage 5 as well, so on 2 dice, he makes it comfortably. And now the forces of good are ganging up on that poor defenceless Ringwraith, who's just looking for some lost property.
Evil moves, both Ringwraiths just continued rushing forwards as fast as possible. The westerly Ringwraith is close enough to throw off a spell. However, due to the Stalk Unseen rule from the special rules, only Pippin is in plain sight, so all we can do against him, really, I can't compel him out of combat. There's no point draining courage, so I'm just going to throw 1 dice at a black dart, see if we can take a wound and kill Pippin surreptitiously. 5 up to cast. Ooh, 5. Okay, so it is cast. Pippin has no will, so it's just resistant to magic.
So on his resistant to magic, let's see what he gets. Oh!
Little Hobbit is resistant to magic on a 6. That is unfortunate.
Pippin shrugs it off. Into the combat phase, we've got 1 Ringwraith versus 3 Hobbits and Gildor in Glorion. We're going to start off with Pippin and see how he does, because he's kind of been mixed up so far.
Yeah.
Let's roll it. Pippin gets a 2.
Okay. Let's see what the Ringwraith has to beat, or set the bar. Oh, a 6. Okay, this Ringwraith is really pulling out all the stops. It's about the 4th 6 he's rolled so far.
Next up, we've got Sam. He's going to roll his dice. He gets that 2. So there's no point in spending might on either of those. Frodo, also on a 2.
Wow.
And then Gildor has 2 attacks. And we really desperately need that 5.
At least a 5. Oh my god.
I can't believe it. The Ringwraith wins this combat.
Amazing. Amazingly, the Ringwraith pulls through with a 6. That was unbelievable. We're going to strike Frodo because we need to chip as much off the Ringbearer as possible. It's a 4 to wound. There's a 1, and we didn't stab, unfortunately. I was a bit wary. Still, stayed in the combat and only lost 1 will and fended off the entire good side. That's at least a draw. Straight into priority for turn 6. Evil get a 3.
And good gets a 5.
Okay, it's a good priority after a few turns.
Good priority moves. We're going to start by Pippin taking a courage check to charge the Ringwraith that he was engaged with last turn, hoping to hold him up so Frodo can start moving further off the board. Pippin's at effective courage 3, so we're looking for a 7, which we just manage. So next up, Sam is also going to try and charge the Ringwraith. He's courage 6, so down to 5, so we're looking for a 5, which he manages. Next up, Gildor is going to move, but just before he does, he's going to cast a cheeky immobilize on the Ringwraith. Not the one that's in combat, but the one that's further back to just forestall his movement up. I think we'll just probably put 2 dice on this. Gildor's got 4 will, so spending half seems reasonable. He casts it on a 3 up though, which is pretty good. Unfortunately,
1 and a 2.
He fails that. So that's 2 will spent. Gildor then is going to charge into the Ringwraith. He's at effective courage 5, and he manages that at least. Summing up, Frodo has managed to move away 4 inches. He's making a break for the board edge now. The other 3 good models are trapping that single Ringwraith. Hopefully we might do better than our last turn of combat and take him out. We've still got Ringwraith movement in play. There's 1 Ringwraith with some will left who can still be a bit nasty, and then we've got the furthest ring wraith that's actually got all of his will left, and he might be able to get Frodo just before he gets off the board edge, so we'll see how that goes. Straight on to the evil movement now, and we'll see where the ring wraiths are.
Evil moves. The westerly ringwraith has now moved right in behind the combat. Can't join in, but we are going to throw some magic, as the good side predicted. We're going to try a single dice on Transfix on Gildor, because if we can take him out of the combat, or at least stop him striking, that wraith in combat might last another turn and hold up the good side, which is exactly what we want. It's a single dice because he's only got 4 will left. 3 up. Casts it on a 5. So now the question is Gildor going to resist on his 2 remaining will?
As this is a transfix, though it's unfortunate, we're probably not going to resist it on Gildor as he needs to shepherd his will.
And the last thing in the evil movement, the furthest away ringwraith has just carried on moving, moved a full 6 inches straight towards the centre with the combat going on and Frodo escaping. We're probably not going to throw, we're just within 12 of the combat, and we could have thrown more spells at Gildor. Sam and Pippin are obscured by that tree, and with the Stalk Unseen rule they are hidden from that ringwraith. So we could have thrown something at Gildor, but he's already transfixed, and I need to save the will for spells for the hobbits, because Gildor disappears after this mission. It gives me no real benefit to damage him further or drain his will. So we'll go straight into combat. Starting off the combat, we have Pippin, Sam, Gildor versus a ringwraith. Evil, I think we're going to stab, just because I'm not too worried about the strike if I lose, and anything to help kill a hobbit would be great. Good, not doing any special strikes?
No, we're not going to call anything here. The risk of losing the roll and accidentally killing a hobbit.
It's too much. Okay, well I'll set the bar. Let's see what the evil side get. Oh, a 2 this time, no 6.
More like it. So Gildor's 2 dice, he wins it immediately.
There we go. The ringwraith is trapped, so we have double strikes against them. Gildor doesn't get to make any strikes due to the transfix.
Nope.
However, Sam and Pippin can stab this ringwraith in the back multiple times. So it is 6s by 5s.
So we'll start off with Sam's 2 dice, because he does have a point of might left.
Yeah.
He gets 1 6.
Oh, okay.
And we're looking for a 5 here.
5 up. Oh,
not quite worth it. All right. And then Pippin's also got 2 attacks.
Yeah.
No 6s there.
Unfortunate. So the ringwraith escapes by the skin of his teeth and does lose a will point. So he is down to 2 will remaining. And that is the end of the turn. The ringwraith escaping by the skin of his teeth, and we're straight into priority for the next turn. Good.
We'll start off with good. They get the 3.
Okay, and evil. A 1. Okay, so it is good priority.
Start of the good movement phase. Frodo is continuing to slip away. He's moved his full distance. He's angling away from that extra ringwraith that's going to come in and maybe snag him at the last moment. Next up, we've got Gildor, Pippin and Sam are all going to charge the same ringwraith that they have failed to do any damage to for the last 2 turns. We'll start with Pippin. His courage is still a 3, so we're looking for a 7 here. He gets it on a double 6.
Wow.
Sam now is looking for a 5. He manages that on a 7. And finally, Gildor is also looking for a 5 here, which he just does by the skin of his teeth. That's the end of the good movement, and we're on to the ringwraiths.
Evil moves. The ringwraith in combat is still stuck, so the westerly ringwraith is now chasing after Frodo. He's skirted around the combat and is within 6 inches, which is great. So next turn, if Evil wins priority, we're forcing Frodo to choose whether or not to be charged or spend another might on a heroic move to get out of the way. However, we're going to try and double down on this advantage, and 1 dice to compel. He's only got 4 will left, so we're going to see what we can do. 4 up. No. Cast on a 3. No might. That's unfortunate. But still, we're threatening Frodo next turn. Last move, the northerly ringwraith, who is fresh, hasn't spent any will, finally in range to do some things. He can't see Frodo, as it's through terrain and the Stalk Unseen is helping. So we're going to try and help out his fellow ringwraith in combat and just cast 1 dice on a transfix on Gildor to help out, see if he can stay alive for another turn. 3 up. No, on a 1, so he's down to 6 will.
Next, we're on to the close combat between the Ringwraith, Pippin, Sam, and Gildor. I believe the Ringwraith. Are you going to stab?
Yeah, we'll just go balls to the wall again. We're going to stab. This time Gildor isn't transfixed, so we're going to suffer the full wrath of the good side if we lose.
Sam and Pippin are going to stab with their blades this time. We're really trying to take out this one Ringwraith.
Okay, so Evil will set the bar. Gets a 4.
Gets a 4. We'll start with Pippin. He gets the 1. Good work there, Pippin. Sam.
There we go.
Gets the 5. Sam wins the fight.
And what does Gildor get? Just for our interest.
Gildor, also a 5.
Also a 5. So the Hobbit and the Elf win it. It is 8 chances to wound this Ringwraith.
8 chances. Now. We'll start with Pippin. He's got that 1 to reroll because we stabbed.
Yep.
So his 2 attacks because of the trap. Oh, he gets a 6.
He gets a 6. A single 5, and this Ringwraith is slain by Pippin.
All right, Pippin.
Oh.
He rolls the 1.
Oh, yes.
He's stabbed. He gets to re-roll.
Fool of a took indeed.
Fool of a took. All right, Sam next. He's still got a point of might, so he might spend that. Let's see. Oh. So again, we're looking for a 5 here. Oh, it's a 3. So that one's not worth it. Gildor is strength 4, which means that we are looking for 6s here. None of that 6s by 5s or 4s. He's got 4 attacks. See how he does.
Can he do it?
Oh, he's got a 5.
Point of might.
I think we got to do it. Gildor's going to spend his only point of might to take out this Ringwraith. That was the end of a pretty pivotal turn. Finally, one of the Ringwraiths is down. Gildor and Pippin and Sam have vanquished him. Frodo's making his way off the board, but he's pursued by these 2 other persistent Ringwraiths. We're going straight into priority for the next turn. I'll lead off on good. We get a 4.
4, okay. Evil. A 4 as well, so it goes to Evil as good had it last turn.
Oh. Alright, this is a tricky turn for the good side. We're going to call a heroic move with Sam instead of Frodo, because if we get lucky on our courage checks, we should be able to tie up those 2 other Ringwraiths in combat. And we save a point of might for Frodo if we need it again in the next turn. Unfortunately for the good side, Sam can't get into combat with either of the Ringwraiths, so he's going to move there. He's calling with me. We'll start off with Pippin, who's taking his courage check to charge the closest Wraith. He's at courage 3, so we're looking for a 7, which Pippin happily makes. So the plucky Pippin is tying up this Ringwraith, and then Gildor's going to charge the other one. He also needs to pass his courage, and he's at courage 5. And again, just makes it by the skin of his teeth on a 5. End of the good heroic movement. Gildor and Pippin have tied up the 2 Ringwraiths, which means that there will be no evil movement this turn, and crucially, no evil magic. Frodo then is free to move up, and he's within 2 turns of the edge of the board, I believe.
Start the combat phase, Evil priority, even though we didn't get the move. So we will go into the Pippin fight, as it's slightly more significant, as we're closer to Frodo without Ringwraith. We are going to do no special strikes, as it would be embarrassing to lose on fight value to a Hobbit. So we're just going to strike 1 dice against Pippin's 1 dice. I presume no strikes from Pippin?
Yeah, I don't think Pippin's going to try and stab this time.
It's pushed his luck too far. The Ringwraith gets, oh no, a 1.
Oh wow, Pippin should have stabbed.
Yeah.
He gets a 5.
Wow, okay. Well, we'll back away closer to the Ringbearer handily, but we do lose that, which is embarrassing.
Now Pippin's going to make his strikes. He's still looking for 6s by 5s, unfortunately, so it seems unlikely, but let's go.
Oh, with a tray.
Oh, it's a 6 out of the tray. That's a 3 for Pippin, so nothing there.
On to the next combat, and we have Gildor versus a single Wraith on 6 will. This Wraith will stab, as he's lower fight to the mighty Elf 6, and I take it the Elf's not going to faint?
No feint from Gildor.
Okay, so 2 attacks from you. I'll roll my 1, see what you got to beat. Oh, a 6.
Oh, you got to beat a 6. No, Gildor rolls a double 1.
1. Strength 4 against defense 4. It's a lightly armored elf. We need 4s, rerolling 1s. Ah, 2. That's unfortunate. We win and push them back, however. But that is 2 Wraiths, both down a will. So the one that fought Pippin is on 3, and the one that fought Gildor is on 5 will remaining. Not too much on the board. And this is the state of the board at the end of the turn. Frodo is making good his escape. He's only a couple of turns away, so we really need to get a priority and hope that the good are squeamish about spending their remaining might on the board. Priority roll off, evil gain. Oh, 6. Oh, 5. Okay, so we do finally have priority, and we're on to see if good will call any heroic moves. Start of the turn, and this is the state of the board. Good decided not to call any heroics because it's only Frodo on the board who has might, and he would spend his last might to move out of range, but potentially be compelled back into a charge range. So the Wraith on the right with 5 will has rushed past Gildor towards Frodo, and he's going to spend 2 of his 5 will to try and compel him towards his other compatriot Ringwraith and bring him back into charge range. So it is on a 4-up compel. We get it on a 4.
Frodo's going to try and resist it just with his free resistant to magic. So let's roll that.
No.
He fails.
And that pulls Frodo 2 inches back towards the Ringwraiths. And with that successful compel, the second Ringwraith was in range to charge Frodo, which he's now done. He didn't cast any spells on the way in because he's down to 3 will, and I want to try and keep him in the game for as long as possible. We do finally have the Ringbearer in combat 1-on-1, but he is unwounded and has all his fate. So it's a tall order, but let's see what we can do.
For the good movement, Pippin has moved up. He's not within charge range of anyone, so he's just getting closer to maybe help out Frodo shortly. And Sam and Gildor are also not in range of the Ringwraith that's threatening Frodo, but they are within range of the other Ringwraith, which if Sam can get into combat means that he'll get to use his I'll have you Longshanks special rule and call a free heroic. So Sam needs a 5 on his courage check, which he manages. Sam having made it into combat, Gildor now takes a courage check to help out. He's also looking for a 5 and makes it on a 6. And that's where Gildor ends up. We'll be straight onto combat, and with Sam's free heroic combat, we're starting off with that. Combat, and the heroic combat between Sam and Gildor and the Ringwraith. Sam and Gildor have got 3 attacks between them, and the Ringwraith's got 1.
Yes, Ringwraith's got 1 attack, and I'll stab just for the hell of it. He's in a desperate situation.
And Sam's going to stab as well.
Okay, it's going to try and stop Sam reaching his master. Ringwraith will set the bar.
He gets that 1. Sam does it on a 5, and Gildor also a 5.
Wow, okay.
The good side really wants to win this combat, so we're going to start with Sam. He's looking for 6s and then 5s, but he gets to re-roll the 1s. No, that's nothing from Sam. And then Gildor is just on straight 6s. So let's see how we're doing. I think I saw a 6, but no.
Second fight of the turn, and we have Frodo versus a single Ringwraith. No stabs or special strikes either side. Frodo is transfixed due to being compelled earlier, so it's a straight dice off. We'll roll for the Ringwraith again first. 3, not great, but not terrible. 3, so the Ringwraith wins it on the fight value, fight 5. Strength 4, defense 3, it is 4s. No rerolling, unfortunately. We should have fainted. No, not a 2, that's really unfortunate. Frodo escapes unscathed. Rolling off for priority, Evil gets a 4, it's pretty good. Good gets a 3, fantastic. So Evil priority. Start of the turn, and we're going to go all out. This will be the last turn for the Ringwraiths if it goes to plan. So the Ringwraith directly in front of Frodo is going to stand still, cast a black dart, and then charge into combat with the Ringbearer. We only have 1 dice as he's on 2 will, so 5 up. On a 3, no, it doesn't go off. And then he charges into combat. Looping round, he's just gone round Frodo and tagged the back of him. Just hopefully be out of range of possibly a Sam heroic combat later in the turn. Next up, the last Ringwraith is going to charge both Sam and Gildor to try and tie them up. Sam will get his heroic combat, but it should hopefully stop Gildor joining the other fight. But first we're going to move, just before we charge, we're going to throw a second black dart at Frodo. Again, only 2 will left, so on a single dice, 5 up, 2, so no. So he just ends up in combat. Just before that, we remembered Gildor does actually cause terror, so the Ringwraith needs to pass a terror check on a Courage 6. Yeah, rolled a 5, he's fine.
For the good movement, the only model we've got unengaged is Pippin. He's going to try and help out Frodo, but first he's got to pass his Courage check on a 3. But he manages it, he's on 7, he's charging in. Pippin's only got a little bit of move left, but he's managed to get in there. So it's 2 Hobbits versus 1 Ringwraith, and Sam and Gildor versus the other. Despite the evil priority, Samwise gets to call his free heroic combat. So we'll lead off. We've got 1 dice on Sam, and he's going to stab evil.
We will stab as well, just why the hell not?
Just in case,
This is our very last combat, as we're down to 1 will. So let's see what happens.
All right, so Sam first. He gets a 4.
Okay.
And Gildor, 2 2s.
Okay, so we've got to beat a 4. No, on a 3. So we beat Gildor, but not Sam, the mighty Gamgee.
All right, now Sam's going to make his first strike. He gets to re-roll the 1s, but we're looking for 6s and then 5s. Oh, he makes a 6. All right,
big.
Come on, Sam.
No, but a 1.
He gets a 1, he's going to re-roll.
Make your gaffer proud. So close. He could have, he had any might left.
Almost. All right, Gildor, he's got 2 dice. He's going to do it on 6s. No.
No. Okay, so you just attack the Wraith. Crucially, not winning the combat by slaying the opponent. He does this spirit at the end of the turn, but it's at the end of the turn, so Sam and Gildor don't get to join Frodo's combat. And the last combat of the game, as the Wraith will also disappear due to no will. We have a single Ringwraith versus Frodo and Pippin. Evil will set the bar this time. We're not doing any special stabs or strikes. Oh, a 6, big 6, so he wins.
He's win it. Let's see what we got. Pippin is a 1. Frodo was a 4.
So would have won it even if it wasn't a higher fight. And we will strike at Frodo, needing a 4 to wound. Come on. It's the 3rd time or something like that. We failed to wound the Ringbearer. He's made of sturdy stuff, and that is the end of the combat.
And that's the end of the turn, end of the game. The 2 Ringwraiths have dissipated into banishment, or whatever happens to them. We're not really sure at this point. Gildor is leading the 3 Hobbits off the board. The Sam and Frodo are tired. They've spent some stats. They've lost some might. They've lost a bit of will. We're straight on to the next mission and into the post-game review.
And there we have it. That was Shortcuts Make Long Delays. A good victory as all the Ringwraiths evaporated or were stabbed to death by elves. How did you find that one?
I think it was tighter than I thought it might be.
Yeah, me too, definitely.
The Ringwraiths, they start getting stuck in lots of combats. They're losing that extra will.
They've basically got 7 combats in them.
Yeah, and they've not got any extra. And
that's if you don't want to cast any magic.
Yeah, and you can't go too wild with the magic.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm always tempted with the Ringwraiths, like one of them basically burn them like a battery and just cast like Black Dart twice on loads of dice to make sure you get it on a 6 probably, and then let them go and let the other 2 come in and be combat, but then...
And then the Black Dart, you still need to roll to wound.
Yeah.
You still get to you still get to resist it. Then you need to roll to wound.
Yeah.
Then you maybe get a fate save. So
yeah, and all the Hobbits have resistant to magic, so it's just it's a bit of a gamble, isn't it? But hey, I thought I was fearing as the evil player, you guys would basically just walk off, and the sentry rolls would just have them wandering off into the darkness.
Yeah, I mean, I think you made some pretty great sentry rolls.
I can't remember which one it was.
It was the Southern Ringwraith.
This fella.
Yeah, it was Grabby.
Grabby. He rolled 3 6s in a row, 2 or 3 6s in a row for a sentry roll, and just went straight towards Pippin. He knew exactly where Pippin was. Then
Pippin failed his courage, which was pretty great.
Then he did something along like he fought all 4 good people and rolled the 6 in the combat.
Twice or 3 times.
Yeah. He rolled all 4 for a 6 in the rolled a 6 in the combat and beat all of them.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 were just being useless. So yeah, that was closer, as you say, closer than I was fearing it would be, and it was exciting. It was great. I thought I managed to do just enough to actually get Frodo. He never actually got off the board. We managed to fight him to the point where we had to evaporate. So not bad in terms of stats. We managed to pip a might and a will off Frodo and 2 might off Sam. and then a might and 2 will off. I was going to say Glorfindel then, but it's
no, that would have been good. Actually.
That would have been pretty good for you. Off Gildor, who obviously he's not in any other missions, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But so 3 campaign resources, as it were. I'm moderately pleased with that.
4, because 2 on Frodo.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
2 on Frodo and 2 on Sam.
I can't add up. So we now are into the recovery rolls. This is our very first one because Farmer Maggot's crop wasn't.
Yeah, you
life or death.
don't use any resources there.
It wasn't life or death. The hobbits just got a little bit of a bite on them, a nibble. So we've gone over this in the campaign overview video in depth if you don't know how it works, but effectively we're not doing any of the surviving the journeys because, boo, I didn't manage to kill any of the hobbits. No one died. So we are just straight into the recovering strength. We get to roll, or you get to roll rather, a d3 per adventurer. Because you won, you get to re-roll it, but choose the second.
Have to choose
the second roll. However, we also assign a Fool of a Took, who doesn't get to roll at all, so no recovery, and a Bravest Companion, who gets to roll a d6 instead of a d3, which is pretty great. We had a chat beforehand, because we think it should be, the book says it should be a collaborative effort. Maybe we were thinking possibly with ties coming down to a dice roll, if we generally can't decide. But we think Fool of a Took, there probably wasn't one.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pippin was the early leader for this, but then he redeemed himself.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he only failed the first courage check, and then every other courage check he passed and charged straight into a ring wraith.
Absolutely, yeah. He failed a courage check, and then I can't remember now, but early on, he definitely was not doing too hot.
Didn't do too well.
And I think he failed a terror check maybe to charge a ring wraith.
No, I think he passed them all.
But yeah, he wasn't great. But then later on his he's courage 4, which is pretty good, but down to 3 with the Harbinger reveal.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a 50-50 on courage 3, but
he passed every time.
He passed them all
with no will in the bank.
And I feel like Gildor actually came closer to failing one.
Yeah, he rolled straight up, like right on the line.
He rolled 5 like multiple times.
Yeah. So I think, being generous, there's no Fool of a Took.
I think it was
Bravest Companion, again, bit of a discussion. Gildor did pretty well. He was the only one to actually kill a
ring wraith.
Ring wraith in combat, but he's not really a companion. So,
but he is also like an elven lord, you know, one of the last of the Noldor. So I mean, he's not really performing above and beyond the sort of his duty.
Absolutely. Sam, I think, has a good shout because he managed to. I don't think he failed many courage checks. I think he resisted some spells. And I think he...
I think there was a couple of spells that were cast on him that just
failed to go off.
Didn't go off.
So, he drained resources of the ring race, which is good. And he managed to get his free heroic combat, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, he tried the I'll have you, but...
he managed to do it twice, but they never managed to follow through with the kill.
Sadly, yeah. So, I mean, it would have been fun to see that happen, but...
Possibly a contender, but actually we were talking, and as much as I would dislike it, Frodo probably having... he resisted... a few. I think he resisted one on his resisted the magic dice.
A couple of spells he managed to resist, or at least one.
He went a couple of times one-on-one with the wraith.
Yeah,
a couple of times,
including he won one of the first combat against the wraith.
A couple of times he survived unscathed. No wounds and no fate were taken off the Frodo. And right at the end, it was only him and Pippin against the wraith, and he still. The wraith won, I think, but.
Still didn't take a wound.
A wound. The race couldn't follow through.
It's impressive, especially because he's only defense 4, so they're
3.
3 even. Yeah. So the wraiths are on like a 4 to wound.
Wearing a little waistcoat and a fabric cloth cape. He's not really.
I mean, strictly speaking, at this point, I feel like they don't even actually have swords. So
well, hey ho.
That's the game. But
that's a whole nother video. We're going to do a 14-part essay series on the inconsistencies between the Quest of the Ringbearer, the video, the films, and the books. Yeah, definitely.
With footnotes, video footnotes.
So, long story short, we think no Fool of a Took.
Yeah, I think
even the Took on the board.
I think we could.
Frodo's probably the bravest companion for facing down one of the 9 on his own and surviving unscathed.
Yeah, that's true.
Long story short, so we don't have a dice cam, but it's nothing particularly outstanding because.
Should we start off with Sam?
Start off with Sam. So he's missing 2 might and gets D3 back.
So he gets what's called the fellow adventurer roll. So, he just gets 1 might back.
You can re-roll it.
There's no point in not re-rolling that. So because I won, I re-roll into a 6. So Sam's fine. He's got all of his might back.
Sam is back, full, happy, healthy. So Frodo gets D6 and he is missing 1 might and 1 will. Yeah. So unless you roll a 1 twice, No, you got rolled a 3 on the d6, so he is back to full stats.
To be fair, I mean, a 3 would have been 2 on d3 anyway,
Yeah,
so
true.
the bravest companion didn't really matter.
No.
We spent ages talking about it though, so, you know, that's good.
It's good to know. You know, it's good to know, and I think you always have to pick these things, even if it didn't really matter. Even
Well,
if
other than the follower took, but...
Yes, yeah. I think just for our sake, you have to pick these things, so it's good to know. So that's the shortcuts make long delays. First mission with actual evil enemies and consequences. Turns out there weren't any consequences. You could just saw off the ring race fairly easily.
And we're going into the next mission. The good side's got the bonus.
Yep, so there's another bonus for the good side.
So hopefully they're just going to snowball from here on out.
We'd hope so. So we've got one more mission, Buckleberry Ferry before the rest point. So the ring race have to go all out. There's no point trying to, you know, snipe stats to carry over to the next mission. The hobbits will make the ferry, or they won't.
Just get on the board, 7 dice, black dart.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. Well, that's that. I think hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We certainly did. We honestly were just like kind of laughing to ourselves. It's so much fun setting up the board and just seeing it all done.
It's also just it's real funny, like having this, you know, mass miniatures strategy battle game, and you're like, right, you've got 3 hobbits, an elf lord, and there are 3 ring races.
Yeah, seven models on the board, and it's still somehow tense.
And it's like a 4x4 board, and there's all this terrain, and you're like, oh yeah, cool. You're just going to run in a straight line.
Yeah, it's still somehow a tense game.
Still remarkably strategic as well, actually.
There were a couple of turns where, like, you know, I forced you to do a heroic move or not, and then that meant magic went off or not.
Some sort of positioning, and a little bit of blocking, trying to hide by terrain.
Really good, balanced scenarios, I think, in this so far. I mean, we've only played 2. We've test played a fair few of them and read through the whole book. Obviously, I don't think many seem off the wall, imbalanced one way or another. I think these starting ones especially are quite in favour of good. I think all evil...
I mean, I think the starting ones are also the ones which are harder to balance, because there's just so few elements that you're basically just like... It's almost like especially in this one and the Buckleberry, it's just about taxing turns of movement out of the good side, pretty much. That's what it's down to. Yep.
And I think these early ones, they are, because it is a narrative, I would say they, you know, because they get to Buckleberry Ferry and they get past the ring race, the missions are designed for that to happen. Yeah. Whereas, you know, you get on later on and like... Yeah, it'd be a pretty terrible quest for the One Ring if Frodo just died. Died straight away. It's possible. First turn. It's possible. If he died this mission and evil had won, and you roll the 1 on the recovery table... the series would be over, so I mean that would be that. Thankfully not, because I'm looking forward to playing a lot more missions. So it would be a lot less work though. It would be. But hey. Well, that's us. Thank you for watching. Please do comment if you enjoyed a particular part of it. Like, subscribe, share it, and we will share all the next missions. Keep an eye out for the next videos coming out soon. And we'll see you in Buckleberry Ferry Mission 3. Thanks for watching.